It's almost like bootlegging with alcohol. It's now legal, but it's taxed. And so people are growing up and buying it, storing it, selling it, and using it without paying the tax. And so it's like people that were making their own moonshine and they weren't paying liquor tax. That's what it was about. It wasn't about good or evil. It was about the government getting their share of the money. This is file number 24602 FY. People versus Virginia Margaret Donathan. Ms. Donathan was charged with maintaining a house in the village of Mendon as a fourth habitual offender. I met her at her arraignment. Maintaining a house is one of the last remaining high court misdemeanors. It's punishable by up to 2 years imprisonment and a fine of up to $25,000. As a fourth habitual offender, I think it makes it a 15-year maximum offense. She also has some traffic cases which involve no insurance and improper display of a plate, I think. Mr. Tim George is here for the defendant, and Chief Assistant Prosecutor Joshua Robert is here. Mr. Robert, what's the status here?
There's an offer for attempt maintaining a house. Mr. George has indicated that his client is going to accept that offer.
All right. An attempt cuts the offense in half. So attempted maintaining a house makes it a 1-year misdemeanor, and it takes the felony habitual portion off of it. So attempting to maintain a house is a misdemeanor, punishable by up to 1 year in jail and a fine of up to $12,500. I can assure you I've never ever fined anyone $12,500, but that's half of what the big fine is. Are you going to plead to that charge? Attempting to maintain a house?
Yes.
Anybody threaten you to get you to do that?
No.
Or promise you anything?
No.
Do you understand that if you do plead to this charge, you'll be giving up your right to have a trial in front of a judge or jury? There will be no trial. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
You have to say yes or no.
Yes.
If you had a trial, you'd have a right to have any of the witnesses for or against you subpoenaed to come to court, so they could be questioned under oath. You would have the right to take the witness stand and testify on your own behalf, but you don't have to because you have a right not to testify. And if you did not wish to testify, the judge or jury could not hold your silence against you. And you have the right to be presumed innocent, unless the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. All right, this house is located in the village of Mendon on Clark Street. Is that correct?
Yes.
And in January, the chief line from Mendon and the code enforcement officer, Joe Wickie, went to your house. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, most of this was what the affidavit says. She's the owner of the house, resides at the house. She knowingly maintained a dwelling that's frequented by subjects using controlled substances, that is kept or used for keeping and selling a controlled substance. This officer observed large bags that was over the allowable use under the Tax Act. There are two separate areas, the house, bedroom, and living room, where multiple quantities of unused small plastic bags were located. And paraphernalia. Paraphernalia comes in different varieties. Here's an interesting legal anomaly. You're allowed to smoke as an adult, but some of the things that are classified as paraphernalia are paraphernalia, pipes and roach clips and scales. And so the absurd result would be you could own the, but you couldn't own the paraphernalia. Anyway, Mr. George, what are we dealing with here? Is this all Or is there more going on here?
I think there were some individuals in the house that had methamphetamine on them, and I
Okay.
believe that there were a couple of pipes that had something on them.
Do you agree with that, Mr. Robert?
That's correct.
Who are the other people in the house?
Gary McKissick and Johnny McKissick.
Who are they to you?
One was my boyfriend, and the other one was his cousin. From Alabama.
Did we work out the traffic stuff?
I have not. Andy gave me an offer, but I haven't had the opportunity to speak with her about that yet.
All right, you want to take a minute and do that?
I
Or
can't.
I'll tell you what, you're right, I'm gonna need more information. I don't know what I'm dealing with here. What do you do, Ms. Donovan? Do you work someplace?
No, I'm looking for a job right now at the moment.
What kind of work have you done?
I've done construction, I've done,
Well, that jacket you're wearing makes me think you work construction. It looks-
the last job I had was construction.
All right. What do you do? So who else lives at the house with you now?
Nobody, I sold that house.
All right, so I don't even live there anymore?
No,
Where do you live now?
I live out in Lawton,
I think you told me that last time.
trying to get away from all of this.
Defendant's a nice little community. What do you need?
I needed advice and rights form.
They've got them out at the counter,
Okay.
the bailiffs. Looked like he was lost.
You know, I don't know that she's pled yet.
She did. Well, I guess you're right. I got the factual basis from Mr. George and I didn't ask her anything. So do you acknowledge that there were these people in your house using meth or other controlled substances?
Yes, but I really didn't have any control over what they did.
But you had control, you owned the house, correct?
Yeah,
I believe that's a sufficient factual basis.
Thank you. All right, Josh. All right. Most of the houses, almost every house in Mendon is well maintained. It's a nice tidy little town, kind of like Centerville. So this one may have stuck out. Tim, are you available Wednesday, November 13th at 11?
I am not, Your Honor.
Well, I usually do these on Mondays. We have a court holiday on November 11th. Let's see what the 4th looks like. How about Monday, November 4th,
What time, Your Honor?
10:30?
That should be fine. I could be in branch at 8:30, but I should be done by then.
That'll be a Monday. November 4th. Are you on probation or parole anywhere?
I'm not on probation but I'm supposed to go upstairs to get a tether for that.
For which?
pretrial services. She had an appointment set for after this to get the tether on. I don't know if the court still wanted that. or not.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't need that. I am interested in one of these large quantities of it's almost like bootlegging with alcohol. It's now legal, but it's taxed. And so people are growing and buying it, storing it, selling it, and using it without paying the tax. And so it's like people that were making their own moonshine and they weren't paying liquor tax. That's what it was about. It wasn't about good or evil. It was about the government getting their share of the money. But I want to know what the deal is. So, Mr. Robert, if I could get a copy of the police report and I'll check into her background.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Let me make a note here. do not need pretrial services at this point. I may give you a test on the day I see you at the time of your sentencing. I want to know if it's lawful for adults, but I want to know if there's other problems.
Thank you, Aaron.